Our next speaker, Greg Jameson. Greg has been named International Developer of the Year of the Colorado Small Businessman of the Year and listed in the Inc. 500 of America's fastest growing small companies. He's best-selling author of Amazon's Dirty Little Secrets. And here's a dirty little secret. You have a copy of that in your red bag. Today, Greg is going to teach others you how to market your business through online seminars, webinars, and workshops, because he's given hundreds of workshops to those and has actually put together a really cool thing called Web Stores University. I'm sure Greg will enlighten you to that. Would you all give a warm Sage Talk welcome to Greg Jameson. What is your ETA?
The great philosopher Homer Simpson said, "Son, if you really want something in life, you have to work for it." Now quiet, they're about to announce the lottery numbers. ETA is a term that's frequently used to indicate estimated time of arrival. When will you arrive at your success? Like Homer, are you waiting to win the lottery? I like to think of ETA as expectations, thoughts, and actions. Now clearly, our actions play a part in our success. But what about our expectations? Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Now, Amazon's founder and CEO, Jeff Bezos, clearly thought that he could build a company to compete with Walmart. And he didn't just wish that he could, he truly believed it. Many of our great leaders have these expectations out of themselves and others. The term reality distortion field was coined to indicate the effect that Steve Jobs had on others and what he expected others to be able to accomplish. Basically, he got other people to drink the Kool-Aid. Now, there was a interview where people were asked to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10 on how much they perceived good things happening in their lives. 1 was, I don't know why everything bad's always happening to me. And 10 was, I don't know why everything good always happens to me. After that, they were given a test where they were asked to count the number of images in this newspaper. Now, buried inside this newspaper was a headline that said, if you're reading this headline, the answer is 37 photos. You can stop now and claim an extra $100. Now, the people that answered that first question with a 1, they may have eventually gotten the right answer of 37 photos, but they never saw that headline. Whereas the people that answered that question with a 10, they invariably saw that headline and claimed the $100. So our expectations do make a difference. I was given a seminar at the Denver Mart recently, and there were 2 presenters that went ahead of me. The first one had 9 people show up, and the second one had 11. My son Brian, who's here, was helping me, and he was setting up the video camera, and the director of the Mart came up and said, "Are you sure you want to do that? We're probably only going to get a handful of people." "No, we're going to pack the room." Now, I expected to fill the room as well, but I didn't leave it to chance. I had taken out a few Facebook ads and sent out a couple of email blasts. But the result was that I ended up setting a new record at the Denver Mart for the most attendees there. Now, this level of expectation is true in all aspects of business. I have a friend, Eric Graham, who says that if you operate your business from a mindset of fear, the thing that you fear, you may actually cause that to happen. There's a story of a New York businessman that sent his daughter off to college. And while she was at college, she was taking a class in economics. And she called home one weekend and said, "Dad, the economy is really bad. Maybe you should not spend so much money." And he thought, hey, you know, she's smarter than I am, and I sent her to college to learn these things. Maybe I ought to listen to her. So he stopped spending so much money on his advertising, and sure enough, his business went down. Like I said, you can't operate your business from a mindset of fear and scarcity. And the reason is that basically money is an amplifier. If you start to make more money, your fears that you had don't suddenly and magically go away. In fact, if you don't grow your mindset at the same time that you're increasing your income, you're likely to end up having those fears and uncertainties overtake things, which is why so many lottery winners, including Homer probably, end up broke. Like I said, money is a magnifier. If you are a kind and generous person when you don't have any money, then with money, you have an even greater opportunity to be generous. If you are a fearful and distrusting person when you don't have any money, then with money, you've got a million more reasons to be distrustful. In a business, if you understand that what you have to offer is something where you're actually increasing value, then you understand that business isn't a zero-sum game. I hear people all the time that say, you know, that there's this market out there, and if I can only get 1% of this market, then I'm going to be rich. But the fact is that that mindset doesn't work. You have to figure out how you can expand that market and increase value. You need to grow the size of the pie for everyone. Now, today we live in the golden age of internet marketing. And some of you might say, well, how can that possibly be? The internet's now over 20 years old, and Amazon is the undisputed leader in online sales. I already missed the boat. But now is the time that the size of that pie is actually growing. Let me explain. When the internet first started, it was all about the size of your email list. But if you didn't have a big list, it was a pretty selective group of who could be successful. Either had to have a big list or know somebody that did have a big list. And at the time, websites were clunky and expensive, often costing tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, even for a small business. For a short time period there, we had banner ads and pop-up ads, but those didn't last very long because they were intrusive to the user experience. Then we had affiliate marketing come along, and companies like Amazon prospered based upon other people recommending them. We got into AdWords. The problem with AdWords is that people had to actually be looking for exactly what it was that you were specifying on your website. And lots of people on the most popular words would bid on the same words, and it could get really expensive. Today, we have content management systems like WordPress, when combined with WooCommerce, allow anyone to have a professional website where you can sell your products and services. But most significantly, Facebook has totally changed internet marketing. Now anyone with any size of budget and no list at all can reach their exact target market. If your target market is 30 to 40-year-old soccer moms and you're trying to reach people within a 25-mile radius of Denver, you can reach those exact people for as little as $1 a day. Let me give you a specific example. I recently did a Facebook advertising campaign for a client. She paid $200 to create the ad and monitor it for her, and paid Facebook $120 in the ad spend to reach 33,000 people. She got 750 people to click through directly onto her website where she was selling the advertised product for $20. That's $15,000, a factor of 47 times her investment. This truly is the golden age of internet marketing. It's time to abandon your fears about the economy, abandon your fears about the competition, and abandon your fears about technology. You need to create a mindset of expectations that you can succeed. There's a story of a scientist who had a fish tank with a northern pike in it. Now, a northern pike is an aggressive predatory fish, and he would feed that fish minnows every day. And that pike would go out there and he would attack the minnows and devour them. Well, one day the scientist put this glass tube inside the tank and he filled the tube with the minnows. That pike would slam his head into the thing, be like, I need to get those fish. And it obviously hurt. He quit doing it after a while. And when he stopped, the scientist pulled that glass tube out and the minnows swam all around that pike. There was abundance everywhere. That pike could have easily eaten his prey, but he ignored it and ended up starving himself to death. That's essentially where we are with the internet right now. There's abundance all over the place. My friend Kevin Knievel says it's kind of like being a mosquito on a nudist beach. So my question to you is, what's your ETA? When will you arrive at success? My recommendation is that you start right now. You see, you don't live once. You live every single day. You die once. But every day you have the choice and the opportunity to say, I want to be successful. I want to have expectations and thoughts and create actions that are going to drive me to that success. Now, if you really want to be successful, I recommend that you read my book. You've got a copy in your bag there. And I expect that this is going to be something that is going to empower you. And I think that you should read it. But you have to take action. Tony Robbins said that if you copy other people and do exactly what they're doing, you're going to get the same results that they do. And Jeff Bezos says that we take a look at our competitors, see what they're doing for customers, and copy those things as much as we can. So you need to copy people that are already being successful. In the book, I asked the question, what would Jeff do? Referring, of course, to Jeff Bezos. Jeff would obviously copy people that are being successful already. So what other things can you do to be successful? Well, one thing is, and Mitch mentioned this, I've got a program out there called Web Stores University. And basically, each week, I have an interview with somebody that is already a successful business person. Some of the people are people that you've never heard of. Other people are fairly common household names. But I have collected all these interviews and I put them together into Web Stores University so that you can see how other people are being successful with their businesses. And I'm adding to that every single week. I've also got a couple years worth of technical videos in there showing you how to run your website. So all of that is available in Web Stores University. It's a small monthly fee. It's like $37 a month. We're actually going to have a drawing for that tonight where somebody can get a year's worth of tuition for free. If you don't win that drawing, it's okay. You can still sign up, and I'm going to let you have the first month for only $1. So you have to take action tonight to get that special, however. Now let me conclude by telling you the story about my sister. When Donna was just a toddler, she was about 2 years old, she seemed to be crying all the time. No one could really figure out why. You know, when you're 2 years old, most of the time a cuddle from mom can kind of solve most of your problems. But for Donna, even the smallest hug would leave her in pain. My mom thought that, you know, the fact that she was crying all the time was her fault because she had 4 other kids and was trying to deal with cancer. But they took Donna to the doctor, and an x-ray revealed the ugly truth. She was born with no left hip socket. She suffered from a condition known as hip dysfunction dysplasia, which basically means that the bones didn't form properly in the womb. They tried everything. They tried some corrective surgery to realign her femur, had her in a plaster cast from the waist down for like 6 months. Then they put her in this brace that spread her legs apart, where she was constantly doing the splits. My dad built this apparatus so she could kind of get around the house with it, but nothing worked. And my parents were basically told that their daughter would probably never be able to walk unaided. Well, my uncle was a Catholic priest, and he had the opportunity to go to Lourdes, France. And when he was there, he brought back with him some of the holy water. My parents applied that holy water to Donna's hip every day for 3 months. At the end of that 3 months, they went back into the doctor, and she walked in without a limp and without a brace. The doctor took new x-rays, and to his astonishment, she had grown a complete hip socket. To the medical community, this was a miracle. But as I said, your thoughts and your expectations do have physical manifestations. You become that which you think about, and you are that which you expect to be. My parents, they didn't just take action by applying the holy water. They truly had expectations and believed that their daughter could be healed. And as a result, she was. Thank you.